Good morning. How are you today? Well, says I'm alive again. Must be a new day. The sun is coming up again. Seems to like to do that. Round and round and round it goes. Where it stops, nobody knows. Hey, have you ever? Was there a song by that name? Um, Sorry, I guess I have to tell you what I'm thinking for you to know. Um, Imagine me not telling you enough. Just not talking enough. I realize I have a real over talking problem. But I am who I am, and I guess I'm gonna work on this. Anyway, but um, I started to tell you something. I have a very short memory. It's getting shorter. Hey, you know what? I have my address book. If anything ever happens to me, this is all my friends. I know. I don't have a lot of friends. Good morning. How are you this morning, Rosie? Now, I've been going through my little book, and there's people in here that I haven't heard from in a long time. People like Brooklyn Lulu and Be More Online and um, Beachy 12, Beautiful Mess, Cajun. That wasn't her whole name. I know her name is Michelle. I went to visit her in Louisiana, in New Orleans. I wonder how she's doing down there. I wonder how the virus is down there. And there was, I wrote people down by their, their fake names. I was really surprised when Facebook started and everybody went from all these fake names to using their real names. I mean, it helps for finding people. It's a lot easier. Except it's so hard to find people whose maiden name, like any woman that you're trying to find that you knew in school or something, you are thwarted by the fact that the maiden name is now gone. It's pretty impossible finding these people. Some of them it's easy. Anyway, so here you are, you're awake and I'm awake, and I came upstairs this morning and the sun was just starting to change the color of the sky a little bit, little pastels in there along with the dark. I can hear the birds. It's -5 Celsius this morning. Now could say the R. Rosie. So, I shouldn't ask, but I'm curious what the COVID thing is like in your area. But it's really nice to forget all about that. I was out in the woods trenching the other day, and Willem and I were removing straw. There's we have a lowland that's kind of a field, and it's got canary grass, which is 6 or 7 or so feet tall when it's in Florence, when it's flowering, when it's gone into head and it's got the seed at the top. But then that top thing, falls off. So then it's about 4 feet, 5 feet tall, I guess. No, 6 feet. Yeah. Anyway, so we're cutting it, and you're helping Mom in the garden. Wait a minute, it's only 6:30 in the morning. It's 1:30 at night there. No, it's 2:30. Where's Oregon with numbers? It's 3 hours, right? Oh, here comes the Associated Press's daily thing today now. I like to sit and listen to the news. And it's 6 a.m. But it can't be 6 a.m. where you are, because it's 6 a.m. here, 6:30 here. 5:30, 4:30, 3:30. Must be 3:30 where you are, Rosie. You found me online. You did it. Yay! So many people write to me and say, oh, I wish I had known you were online or live or whatever it is. Be nice to talk. Yeah, it's 3 now. Did you know that everybody's got this cycle that wakes them up at 3 in the morning? their body does this whole cleanse thing, and at 3 a.m. it's like, I'm done, here, flush it out. 3 a.m. Isn't that interesting how similar we all are? I was going to tell you something. Oh, yes. So I've been down there playing in the marsh woods and in the... It's all kind of watery down there because when we put our moat in, I didn't realize there was a waterway in there, which I have found on this very old topographical map. Well, what do I do now, right? So I'm trying to trench it and to let it get back in its little trench. But I think somebody built a pond on it 30 years ago. And so that redirected the water, because around the pond is all the dirt that was in the pond, which just means like it's uphill and downhill. So water can't get in there. You're crafty at 3 a.m. I've been being crafty lately. I made a basket for my daughter, and I used pine bark. Have you ever in your life heard of anybody making a basket out of pine bark? And a little chickadee right there. I gotta hang feeders at the right places here, so I can sit in this chair and look out and see them. I'm in this chair, which is 100 years old. Well, no, it's not 100 years old. It's probably about 150 years old or more. Anyway, how do I figure that? It was a Jackson chair. Randy, if you happen to show up and see this and say hi. This was a Jackson chair. And I think it might have been Jane Jarvis's. Jane Jarvis married John Jackson, I believe. They lived next door. No, that was the Jarvises. The Jewetts lived next door. But Jane Jewett? No, it was Jane Jarvis, I thought. Anyway, see, in my mind, this is a really old person, and I've heard stories about her that she smoked a pipe in front of her or in front of the fireplace, and she, and I don't know, but I just feel like this is her chair. It may have been Aunt Mildred's chair, but before it was Aunt Mildred's chair, Mildred was a Jackson. Randy is a Jackson. Randy, we have to talk. Do you remember this chair? Let's look at this chair now. Do you ever remember Aunt Mildred sitting in this chair? I'll have to take a picture of it. It's a very interesting chair. This is, I'm not sure if it's leather. It could be. It's very hard. It's not wood. Oh, look at the lines. The lines are going this way. Oh, look at the design. Oh, my word. Oh, it's not just a piece of leather. This is a really fancy thing. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I could bring that back. I could see what it looks like. I think it must have been pink. Is this dirt? Anyway, isn't that interesting? So this was in my mother's basement, right? Look at the work on it. I mean, this is so much nicer than a chair you can get now. And it's short, which means that as you rock, your legs lengthen out, and it helps you rock when it's short, which I did not realize before. Oh, look, these have little things at the bottom of them. Little ones here for this. Huh. I'll have to see about getting a, I should start with a little bit of water on a cloth, see what happens if I wipe it down. If nothing happens, I use a little bit of my homemade gentle soap. See what happens. This is a really cool chair. I wonder, my mother had all these books, antiques. They're downstairs, actually. There's one about chairs. Now, wouldn't it be cool if I could actually go downstairs and get that book and look it up? But you know what's going to happen? Do you think that's possible, that I could go down, get the book, look it up, come back up with the book, and sit here again? What are the chances of that happening? If I go downstairs, There's nobody down there to distract me. It's not like we have the children living here. But we lived downstairs, and they all lived upstairs in this beautiful place. I mean, it doesn't look really beautiful from this side, but when you're on the other side, and that I have a little living room at the other end, and this is all the gardening on this side, and this chair, which I love, which of course has to be by a window because I have to open windows because I can't just be inside. But if I open the window and stick my head out, it's like I'm not inside. Oh, I have to feed these birds. Hold on. Are they still there? Isn't that a beautiful thing? My daughter, it gets so hot out here in the summer. My daughter built that. I had those trees to give a little bit of pretend like you're in the woods up here. And I keep looking at those, and I have to straighten them up, and I should put one piece of stick across so that I have something to screw them on at the bottom. Because I can't screw them into the, what is it called? Plexiglass. All right, bird foods. And if it goes through, it goes onto the roof. And then the birds can go in on the roof under there and get them. There are 6 stray cats out there somewhere that live under our studio. I have no idea how to get rid of them. I'm hoping they will find food somewhere else. But they haven't so far. Of course, we have big compost. Now we don't have compost anymore. Because we don't waste food. Isn't that pretty? Yesterday, when I looked out there, it was all covered with snow. There's still some frost from last night. You can see these plexiglass are clear, right? I haven't heard any birds hitting them lately. I think they must have been getting used to it. Something's wrong here. I think that the door got left open and the water came in and got under it. So what do I do? Like, is it going to be wet under there? I don't know how long ago this happened. Any time between now and 4 years ago. Or 2 years ago. I should sweep the floor and then it'll look nice. All right. Oh, you want to see my plants? Good morning, 6 people. Are you all awake? Here, let's look over here and see what these plants are doing. So we have here, these are all broccoli. Some of them, they all sprouted. I didn't put them in these little peat pots till they sprouted. I don't know about these peat pot idea. Kind of weird. Because as soon as they start growing, I mean, what are you going to do? You can't just leave them there. So now, quick, I have to move them. Look at that squash. Isn't that beautiful? That's a big squash. Look how big that seed is. And these other ones are cucumbers with those little pink seeds. They've all sprouted, and then I put them in there. Now that one, is it? Some of these look like they're, oh, that's got a little crack in it. Oh, that's not gonna. These are, it's kind of nerve-wracking because I see them, I see problems. Oh no, oh no. And over here, look at this. I have, oh, this is all romaine lettuces. I thought they were each in their own container. Anyway, those are romaines. And then over here, look at this. This is asparagus. Isn't that amazing? I thought I had like a whole, I thought when I put them in here, I thought it was all asparagus. And no, there's only 3 asparaguses. I'm trying to keep the lights really close to this one and seeing what happens there with these little broccolis. I think they're broccolis. That's the only ones I think I planted. Broccoli. Gonna have some broccoli, I hope. And I told you about this this orange pepper, right? Did I tell you about that? Okay, so these are orange peppers. Each one of them has sprouted. And once it's sprouted, I put them in here. And they're all growing. Look at that. Now, I want them to be nice and tight and not, I don't want them to get really big and floppy. Or, you know, like some things do. What's gotten big and floppy? Yeah, this one over here. See how these got big and floppy? These are all broccoli. Oh, no. You see, this is what I thought was asparagus. I think this whole thing was labeled wrong because it was from this package. Oh, look, there's some in there that have sprouted that are not, they're probably dead. Oh, well. And what was I just looking at? So each of these, I mean, this is a terrible way for these poor little plants to look, you know? I mean, when you get them in the store, right, they're nice and straight. Or if you grow them in the garden, they're nice and straight and tall. Well, look at this mess. I don't know what to do about it. Give them light. I move this table around as the light moves. I just think that's so nice. So we'll try and keep these growing away. What's this one up here? Oh, this is more of those peppers. I need more lights on all these things, you know, but I need the lights to be brighter. Okay. Now what's this one? Is this a asparagus? Looks like it's got a little thing in the middle. Look at these peppers. Aren't they great? But even with this light so close, one side is not light enough. You know? I should have it swinging. Should put them all on, oh yeah, these are the lights from the walls in my mother's house. They were like that. They had little white things on the top. Where are they? I don't know where I've got them now. Anyway, and then that I rigged that. It's a wall thing, and I took an extension cord from my mom's house, the end of which had been taped, and I thought, well, you know, if it's been taped, let's see, it was this. So I don't know why it was taped. So they have to come down further. All right. See, I did lower that. That was right down there. I had to raise it yesterday because everything was starting to touch them. And what about this? Like, this has gotten green. Is that because it was too damp, right? So I took the top off. Now, when do I add water? How do you know? Like, I can feel water squishy there and there. You know, so some of them are not so squishy. Anyway, it's all a little bit, I don't know what to do. So these plants now, should I put them all in their own pots? I mean, these are gonna, you know what would be fun? Wouldn't it be fun if I put if I got a pot and I put them at the corner of each window and I let them grow up? Wouldn't that be cool? If this one day had cucumbers growing around all the windows? Can you believe that? So what if I did that? But you see, this is what I've got to work with. It's right here. I've got those planter things. If I went to the greenhouse out there, I might be able to find containers to plant these into. But you know, like, what the heck are you going to do with a million? Like, this is a lot. You can't just transplant these all into their own containers, can you? But this, I would like to do something with this that would be better for it. See, I think this one should go under the light. There. Now that's under the light. But it's not enough light. But this becomes really good here. This is a great place. But you can see the window is still dirty here. And the window is keeping the light out. So I have to open this and wash it. But at least I got rid of those screens. The screens would reflect the light in the morning. You have this beautiful light coming in, and all you could see was a white screen. Can you believe this place where I live? This is so amazing. I've been using this table here. Look at what I've got. Isn't this amazing? Hey, Willem. What do you mean? Good old Willem. He's such a sweetheart. Oh, look, we're having light on the trees again. And oh, it looks like it's frozen again this morning. Oh, a little bit of it's got ripples in it. I'm so blessed. I feel apologetic that I'm so blessed. I feel sorry that I'm such a privileged white person. It's like it's not my fault. I was born into it. It's just where I am and what's happening. But I wanted this, and I worked for it, and this is what I have. And I don't think it was because of me. I think the Lord, I think it's just a blessing. I think he loved me, and I have had enough trial for a while, and so I got this blessing. And I feel so bad for those people that are in India and other places. You know, only 5% of the world have, like anything, money. What did it say? 5% of the population of the planet can worship what they want, has money on their dresser or maybe in their pocket, and has food to eat, doesn't have to worry where their food is coming from. Of course, now that's all changed, isn't it? Things are different. Wonder if things will go back to the way they were. Oh, this is where we come for our... I'm going to turn more lights on. Let's see what we've got here. Look at this. Look at what the little children have done. This coronavirus showed up right in the time for... and she was moving, so she couldn't come back and clean up or anything. So I soaked these yesterday. And look, are they starting? What's this happening on the end here? Yep, it's starting to grow. So these are all just going to grow. And then when they grow, these are sunflower seeds. And what you do is you just pull them out and you have a yummy meal. You don't have to eat the bottom, but there's no soil in here. It's only the, salad. So the birds are not getting it all anymore. Nope, birds have to share. Look, the sun's coming up. Riding China, purifying, riding on the dummy line. Which is the light? That's a light fixture. And that's a reflection out. This window, I believe. No. What is that out there we're seeing? That is a reflection of how can it be reflecting there? I mean, it's really the same picture as that's very weird. I don't understand that. So we have more things we could grow, should we wish. We waste time making them in little pots in the house. Parsley. I could have some parsley. Oh, I love this kind of lettuce. Butter crunch lettuce. Oh, spinach. We could have spinach and leeks. And tomatoes. I like this is a bush beefsteak. Those are nice for sandwiches, you know, but I don't really eat tomatoes because of what they do to me. Hey, you know what? Why don't I do this one? Where am I? I'm in my house. No, I'm upstairs. This is the upstairs. We had this, look where we live. But we had this built, and then my daughter has been living up, well, when I had my hip surgery, that's when we had just built this room, or had it built. I'm going to turn that light on this way now. There. And I had them put 3 sections of lights because for each 10-foot section, I wanted it to be lighted. You know. Anyway, this is my favorite part over here. I have a bit of a mess. We have been bringing things up. So this is full of all these things, which is empty now, but all these are, look at these prices. You probably wonder what they even are. You're acting like you don't feel very good. Let me just give you some extra help here. The cedar bark. I told you I made this basket out of pine bark. Yeah, I think it's important to have a lot of light. Lots and lots of light. So here, at my grandmother's hooking, and I guess this is one of the color swatches, but look at this, $2.60. Of course, that's probably when gas was 5 cents, you know. But I don't know if this is the colors I need for now. I don't know what the original picture is supposed to look like. Did I ever finish this? I never hemmed this one. Nancy, you better be careful. You're going to unravel the whole thing. Ah, which is why it's sitting here with the scissors and it's getting ready to be fixed. I thought I would put a label on this one, handmade by Mom. Made with love by Mother. You can't get them to say what you want them to say. These have been moved from here to there, to here to there, to here to there. Every time I put them by a chair, I got to move them because somebody's going to use that chair. I'll put them right here. Maybe they won't have to move again until I use them. This is for sitting here feeding the birds. Oh, look, the light has changed. Wow, isn't that pretty? I just love water. Oh, this pretty view. There's also water right there. I tried to make this pathway so we could see it from the house, so you could see this pond. Trying to get this out right now. Come on, out of there. Okay, there. All right. So anyway, this is for rug hooking. So I can sit here and I lost my hook. So, but it's got a crochet hook end, so I just use that. Or I plan to just use that. Now this would be a good color for this shell here. But I don't have enough. That'll only... Well, maybe it would. Wouldn't that be cool if it would cover that shell? Anyway, this is my grandmother's. And here, this is my world. Look, I have a place to do it all. I thought I put a rim on top of this. This is in pretty bad condition. I thought I'd put the rim on backwards, and I was thinking of some of these pictures of rims are kind of interesting. I think it's just, I'm not going to find it in these books. I was looking for, I want to harvest sedge roots. And trying to find any information on sedge roots is really hard. Anyway, I was going to look for that. But it's interesting to read my books one at a time. I went on Amazon years ago, and every book that was on basket making, I bought it. which is interesting because now I have all these ways to make baskets, all these different patterns and different techniques. I like how when she does this, she's not taking you step by step through the whole process because I know how to do it now, right? That's not a problem. Oh, and look what I have to have. In order to make this basket, I'll need to have a strap that will hold it on, right? Right, some way. And in order to put the strap on, you'll need one of them. Well, guess what? We happen to have had a belt which bit the dust. And so, where's my bag? Oh, here it is. What am I looking for? Let me come rushing over to show you. No idea. Anyway, I love this little table. I love that I'm reading all these books, you know. I have so much rush. See, my rushes are out here. Did you see that? I've been making a rug downstairs with them. Where are they? On the ground out there somewhere. On the deck. This window won't open today. It's probably because it's frozen. Oh, look, everybody's been talking. I live in Canada. Morning, Susan. Nice to see you. And God bless you too. Anyway, so this used to be my dad, and then my daughter continued living here for another year, and the children. So this all, can you believe this? Talk about privileged white people. Look what I have. I have all this. Now, what does this say? Background, Queen's Desire. Cut narrow. Oh, it's probably because it's thick. The moths have been into it. Anyway, this is all the background stuff. What's this? Oh yeah, this has been cut. Looked like the frill. And I've got her cutter too. It was in the box. Couldn't believe this. This is all these things I got from going to my mother's house. I never even knew this existed. This was in her basement. Look at this. Look at this thing. Look at these are the handles. The Door Mill, Door Woolen Company, Guild, New Hampshire. Haha, I shall contact them. See if they still exist. What exists 8 years later? I cannot tell. This is a cedar chest, isn't it? Which is what you need when you're storing wool. My grandma, talk about privileged white people, was so well off. Unbelievable. All right, we'll see you later, Truth Seeker. Hey, what's your first name? Thank you for stopping by. Oh. You know, the color on here, the background color is on here. Right? This is what she had chosen for the background color. Do I have any of that? I need a lot of that. If that's going to be the background for this whole thing. My grandmother is amazing at all these things. So I don't think any of these backgrounds is the right color. A lot of beautiful greens. These are for grassy things, you know. I have a whole bunch more of her hooking things. I have all of her books. All the hooking books. Oh, and this is strapping to go around the edge. Now the only place to get them that I know of is you have to find old suits and cut them up. Or wait for a wool blanket to show up at the dump. But the dump is closed for the foreseeable future. This future is stretching on ahead, isn't it? See, this looks like she cut it up from a coat. This is a whole different thing than the original concept of hooking a rug. Hooking a rug was kind of, I think, I don't know the history actually, but I would think that they would use old clothing and they would recycle it by making it into a rug after it was no longer good for clothing. Take care, oh, yeah. Truth seeker. I already said the word. This is that, isn't it? I kind of got distracted here. Oh, look at how it's changed now. Oh, isn't that beautiful? Look at this blue sky. There won't be a single airplane in the sky today. Isn't that amazing? Did you ever say, stop the world, I want to get off? Well, stop now. This is your chance. You know, if you look down there, I always do this. So here's where I cut. Now that's the top of Grandma's cottage. So I cut beside it. And I cut and I made a view. First I made a view, but it turned out it was over here. The view was. I had gone the wrong direction completely. So now I'm going this direction. I can see that there's a little green tree up there. This one, I think. See that tree? Right in the middle there somewhere. And right on the other side of it, that is the pond. And so I would like to be able to see the pond from here. At one time when we came here, we could see the pond. All that has grown up. I just want to have a little view there. And I know I have everything already. Anyway, as we start our day, it's so nice to be up here. It's such a nice, cozy place. Let me show you it. See? So I have already, I already made a basket for Scarlett yesterday. I showed it to you. I used pine bark. Have you ever heard of using pine bark? It's like nobody ever uses pine bark. This is part of the pine bark. It's just the part that was on the outside. You had to take all the inner bark off of it. You see how it's all netted? There's a bit of the inner bark that didn't come off. See there? That's a pretty thin piece of it. Anyway, so I thought I would finish this basket here. Thought I would put a little rim on it. And I thought, you know, when I put a rim on this, I thought, you know, I should really find out how to do it so it looks really nice. Like, all I had to do here to make it amazing would have been to have cut this so that this part is sort of rounded. And then it would look, you know, like that's the way they're supposed to look. But I didn't do that. I did it this way. I did use roots. I've also learned that if you split the roots, then they'll lay flat, I think. And see, I was thinking, how do you do this part? And I don't have the books up here right now, but you need your to be plugged in, don't you? Good morning, you 5 people. All right, so here we go. So they'll have pictures of, they'll use roots. Every time I'm digging and I find cedar roots, I always save them. And you're supposed to, of course, these are very brittle right now, right? This is very brittle. But you soak it for 5 minutes, and it's not brittle anymore. But anyway, so what they do is they've got long, medium, short, long, medium, short, long, medium, short. Because when you work with birch bark, each of these lentils, see how you can see light through them? It's because they crack. And so this whole thing wants to crack. So there's a couple things I've learned. First of all, is if you use a round awl, it's more likely to crack it. Whereas if you use a star screwdriver or a star-ended something and you hammer it in, then it will not, it doesn't try and stretch it as it does when you push that all through the solid thing. It will it'll make a little line one way and the other way, and so it gives itself permission to go in there. But when you get too close from one another, like I've already done this. It's really hard, right? Like I did it with the birch bark, not birch bark. I did it with willow. I probably have to make some decisions about things here. But see, this is what's happened. Now we get into basket repair. Well, when I was making it, this is what's happened, right? So it tried to crack. And of course it was, and those held, those are okay. And here, it all replaced the stuff off. You see here, everything, it made cracks, all those holes. And so now this is what's happened. So do you just go down lower and do it again? You see here, this is all cracked because of this. See how big the cracks are? Anyway, so I was thinking, what if I put on, sometimes you see the edge of a birch bark container, and it'll have a rim, and it's made by the other direction. And I think that if you cut this rim, like if you had pinking shears, you were to cut it with pinking shears on the end. There's something really dark over there. Where is it? What am I looking at? Oh, sorry. Let's get back out of that. Anyway. I can't get rid of it. All the people's talking. How do I get rid of the people's talking? Trying to make my screens come on, but I have to wait until there's nothing there. Ah, it's going away. Now I can make it small. Right? Nope, it's not working. It's just big. Okay, anyway, so I was looking at this and trying to decide what to do for the top. And I have a hard time learning in books and things. I mean, not learning in books and things. I have a hard time doing what somebody else does. I might get some really good ideas, and then I don't do them. I do something different. So this was my handle. It's holding on to mostly the rim, which is now let go of everything else. And so I think I'll take this whole thing out here. You have to wet it, otherwise it'll break. This will break right here. Anyway. But I love sitting at this table and playing with all these things. I have this other bark I took apart yesterday, and I was thinking of what to make with this. I didn't take it apart. I wet it, so it's nice and supple, except down at the end where it's dried up again. And all the rest of it's nice and usable. And it's a beautiful, if you're making a huge basket, this would be a beautiful width, wouldn't it? And it seems a shame to have to just make it narrow, eh? But if you make it too big, it's really hard to do a rim on it. But I could use it for a big ribbed basket. I mean, not ribbed basket, yes, like an egg basket, a melon basket, a bum basket, something like that. So these would work really well. But it's not enough. But if I make something smaller, it could be enough. But I don't know what I'm going to make. So I have to keep looking in my books and see what I have for ideas. So in this big box here, are all these really things that I've been like, this is cedar, this is pine bark. Can you imagine making a basket out of that? Well, when you wet it, you'll see that this is the inner bark here. When you wet it, it'll come apart. And then you can have this stuff, which is now separate from your beautiful bark, which is this. This is pine bark, I believe. Might be, I don't think it's cedar. The cedar is very fibrous. You can make clothes out of cedar. Yes, you can. It's best when it gets old like this, when it rots, because then you can pull it apart into millions of long strips. So now that would be interesting to try making a little basket out of tiny little strips. I went down under the deck and got all this out. See, here's pine. So there's a cedar. And these are pine. And here's the thing to do the window, should you wish to do so. And this is all cedar I got the other day. There's a bit of birch in there from my wanderings in the woods. Some birch. Cedar. A lot of birch blew off the trees. These are really thin. They'd be good for something interesting. I'm not sure what yet. That's the sign of a hoarder. A hoarder says, oh, this could come in handy. It's almost like paper. Look at how many layers are there. Look at that. It's all one thing. Anyway. I don't know what kind of birch it is. Is that yellow birch? It doesn't look like paper birch. Whatever. That would make a good book cover. You know, like for a little address book. Look at all that. Look at how that's happened there. Is this from a bird? Looking for bugs, perhaps? It's too perfect. It's almost like it's the under layer. Huh. So what do we got here? Oh, look, now this is willow bark. Isn't that nice? These are cedar. I think I should have a basket up here with these in cedar and cedar. Oh, interesting. And this is what I had started. But the bark is so old, it was decomposing. Becoming fibrous. So that would be fiberizing. Fiberizing? Anyway. Weaving with fibers. Anyway, so this is probably better suited to making fabric on the loom. So I think I'll take some of these old ones and I'll I'll end up powdering them up, or not powdering them up, but crushing them up and just getting the fibers out. But this is in progress, so we'll probably go over there with the in progress stuff. This is also in progress. Now this is what you get from the store. Should you wish to buy something? Oh, no, wait. No, not at all. This is white ash. From a white ash tree. That's pretty cool. That should be finished. And then I have all these little pieces that were left from brush things. You can make a cute little basket out of these. I'll just put them in water and then later I can do that. And I have things to do, isn't it? All you have to do with brush is just wet it. And once you've wet it, you're supposed to wrap it up in paper towel, in a cloth, and then it'll mellow. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Wouldn't that be a nice rim for that? Oh, we've got some ideas happening here. This is going to be a good day. It's going to be a fine day. Wouldn't want to worry what the weather woman told you. Wouldn't want to worry what the weather woman said. Wouldn't want to worry what the weather woman told you. Now this was a white pine tree. And I just thought, wouldn't it be nice to take the bark off? So I boiled it forever. I wonder how small a basket you could make. I wonder if you could take this one little piece and make a whole basket. Let's try that. Okay, I was going to show you this earlier. So once you soak it, it's very pliable. Not going to crunch. But you really need to split it, I guess. They always split it and then lays flat. See, if I was going to do that thing over there where it's a long, medium, short, medium, long, medium, short, or whatever they do, they have these all lined up right next to each other. It's looking so beautiful in there. But mine doesn't lay flat. Mine doesn't curve so well. Mine, look at this root, right? So that root should have been split, right? That's what they do. They get these long roots and then they split them. And so I didn't split them, and there's what we get. And I suppose if I turn this basket upside down so that only the top is in the water, this is all the pine tar. Wondered if I could use that for rosin for my violin. I think I should keep it in my violin case. All right, what else we got here? Well, more pine bark. I want to go and see if I can harvest the pine bark on that tree that I saw by the roadside. Somebody had logged a bunch of red pine. Oh, look at this. This is some more of that birch. Not birch. This is willow bark. Isn't that nice? I didn't realize how nice willow bark is. And what else is all this? This is all pieces of cedar bark, I guess. That's pine bark. That's cedar bark. So I found a red cedar that had been cut just recently enough. That's a lot of layers there. Look at that. You have to heat this stuff to make it work. Heat birch bark. You don't have to soak it. I guess if you soaked it or ran it under hot water, you'd have the same effect. I wonder how many layers I could get from this. Let's see what size basket I could make. I could make a little container. I could practice making an amazing birch bark container. I could carve on one side of it, So, and this is my pattern, right? This is the pattern for the base of for my birch bark basket, right? And so then you end up with these flat parts coming over. Pretty part here at the bottom that sticks up. You see, and then that's the. I could do some of the things. Okay. So that's what the side of it would have been like, right? These are supposed to be, it's one of the native designs. And if I tried doing it from the right shape, I would probably come out with a much better basket. What else we got in here? Quills. Now we're talking. Porcupine quills. The porcupines aren't out yet. I haven't seen them out yet anyway. Of course, this is going to be a good year out there. There's not going to be very many roadkill. It's going to be a good year for raccoons and foxes and porcupines. See over there, you're seeing the top of the hill here. And then it goes down like this and over. And it comes back up and it goes there. And then the whole thing goes around. This is all hills all the way around the flatland. That was so pretty. It's shaped like a W. See how the sun is on the snow on top of it all? Oh yeah, there's snow. That's right. I love snow. The world is so beautiful when it snows. I wonder where my deer are. I wonder if they're coming out to eat in the yards yet, in the field. Ooh, look at that big black thing in the tree up there. Wow, what is that? Come over here and have a good look. I'm going to have to stand up higher. The screen is in the way. Boy, is that ever a big black ball there. See it up in that tree? What is it? It's not usually there. Could be a bear. Likely a porcupine. Pretty big. Huh. Now I gotta know. Okay, we're gonna have to go get the binoculars. The outside. Can I make you smile? All right, want to come with me? Let's go find it. I think I'm gonna empty my trash when I go down there this time. That's supposed to be for grapevine. See, that's for the frames of the baskets. And this is clothing, which is supposed to have gone to the youth center, but didn't make it here. I don't think I just make it smaller. There we go. Oh, that's right, it's not getting up time downstairs yet. Did I ever show you these things I made to hold the balls? Going to show you this. Couldn't show you from upstairs. But see, this is, well, no, these are the leftovers, right? So this is my rug I'm working on. This Isn't this great? I figured out how I was going to do it. So at the moment, it is, how big is it? It's 38 inches long. See, those are damp. Those I can use. Oh, look how beautiful it is. I gotta go outside. Oh wait. See, this is the problem. Remember I was going to come downstairs and get something, but the chances of coming back up are going to be slim. I think I'll feed those squirrels upstairs with that. Oh, look, I made millet last night because I just love millet. Oops. I also made some tortillas. Oh, look at that. Those are garlic pieces I put in there. Smells good. Okay. What did we come down here for? Darn, I wish I remembered things. Hey, that door looks like it's open. Still can't sit outside. Well, you can if you bundle up in all your winter stuff. Look where I put the Savior and everybody. They're up there. I thought they fit better there than the lamp. But, you know, some of these things could go upstairs. Anyway, we're not thinking about that right now. What are we thinking about? Oh, the binoculars. That's right. We want to see what's in the tree. Okay. Now, you may get cold out here. I'll try and keep you warm. You know where the binoculars are? Poor Joseph. It's sad, isn't it? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a screened room here. But I like having the ability to have this open. So I don't think I want the room to be too wide. Enough for 4 chairs, or, you know, in there. And then I want to have a doorway that comes out. Not so. Oh yeah, I'm going to find I know where my binoculars are. That's where I keep them. Hanging up right here. They should be. Huh. They're not. Oh well. Oh, there's another one in the car. Hey, you want to go this way? I have to finish all these things. We've got to have all this inspected. So I have to finish all these railings and things. Put railing right here. Ooh, these are sloped. These are sloping that way downhill. Yeah, they're not level. Last summer, Mary was here. And she helped me. See, I have more basket making stuff in there. Look at those. I have some cool. I want to make a waste basket. Yes, I need a waste basket. Yeah, I was going to do that. Maybe I'll just grab it while I'm here. So, which one do I want to use? How big a waste basket do I need? How about this size here? Alright, so that's going to be a waste basket. Isn't that going to be amazing? Alright. 2-cup trail. Hey, this is not on the right spot. Hey, what's happened here? You know where the birds nest? Where you can't see it. Look, right there's a nest. Let's see if there's any more in here. Bet that's a robin's nest. What have we got in this tree? Nothing. You look in the tree, and when you see a spot where you can't see into it, that's where the nest is going to be. there's another nest in that tree. I planted these. Isn't that amazing? Those things back there, look where they go down to go on the garden beds. Or to hi, E. Okay. That's going to be a great basket. I'll go back here and get this. Another one that blew around and got snowed on. See, look at this. It was a... Oh, look, the sun is coming in there. We could go in there. Okay, which card did I use? I think they're in here. What's today? Thursday. I think the dump was open today. Well, you can't get out of your car and see anybody. But I have them. Now, let's see. What's up in that tree? Okay. Oh, it's so cold out here. Okay. Well, nothing is in the tree. It's the way the light is shining on it. Huh, okay. Cold, cold, cold. Ah yes, but look what I have now. I have another watering container, and I have this to make a container. Now I'm going to need a bottom for it. I think I'm going to end up having to do this in the studio. Or I have to bring up... I think I should bring the super upstairs. Wouldn't that be fun? Then I could make the base for it upstairs. Because there's no power down there at the moment.